All right, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. It's got a new name. Changing things up. It's going to be Kian and the Prez. Just like the way it sounds, like the ring to it. Kian and I have been doing this for a year now together, and we're going to continue to do it through a year, together throughout the years. So,
Yeah.
figured let's incorporate Kian in the name. He deserves it, and his name first just sounds better. So that's what we're going to go with. Anyways, we're excited for the NFL 2024 season. What we're going to do for you is break down the divisions. We're going to start with the West Coast divisions, NFC and AFC West today. We're going to give you our predictions for how those will go. We'll do each grouping. We'll do the South, the North, and the East. And then we'll do one final video for our end of year predictions, which will have our Super Bowl champions and our end of season awards. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the AFC West. We're going to go fourth to first. And in fourth place in the AFC West, I have the Denver Broncos. I know Sean Payton is excited about this team, is excited about his young new quarterback in Bo Nix. The problem for him is he doesn't have a great roster. And all those teams that the Saints had when Deshaun Payton was there, not great defensive teams. A lot of times carried by a really good offense. And those 10 years where they went 8-8, back-to-back season with Payton, they had great offenses but bad defenses. I don't think they're going to have a great defense this year. I think they're going to have struggles with a rookie quarterback. I have them finishing fourth at 5-12 in the AFC West. That's the Denver Broncos. What do you got, Ken?
I also have the Denver Broncos at fourth in the AFC West with a 5-12 record. I do think the Broncos, although they are one of the worst teams in the NFL, they have a lot of good players like Cortland Sutton and Pat Surtain, and they also have a good offensive line. So I think they're going to be able to get at least 5 wins in this season, but it all depends on how well Bo Nix plays as a rookie. So I think they're going to be worse than the other teams in the AFC West.
All right, next up, my third place team, the Las Vegas Raiders. I have the Raiders going 7-10. They made some interesting choices. Obviously, I think they wanted to draft a quarterback. They weren't able to trade up, or one didn't fall to them. I think they would have taken Penix where they were drafting, but instead they had to settle for Brock Bowers. Not a bad way to settle. I think Bowers will be a good NFL player, but it's not really a position of need for them. They've got a lot of needs. I think Gardner Minshew is a great backup quarterback. I don't think he's a starter in this league, but they're going to roll him out there. And I think the Raiders are going to struggle. I think, losing Josh Jacobs is being undervalued. I know that running backs as a whole are undervalued in the NFL, but I think he did a lot for their offense. And I just think they're going to struggle, which makes me feel bad for Max Crosby, one of my favorite players in the league. But anyways, in third place, I had the Las Vegas Raiders going 7-10.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders. They do have Gardner Minshew at quarterback, so they haven't figured out that situation for their future yet. And I think they're going to try to I think their plan the offseason was just trying to get a lot of great players to prepare their next quarterback that they might try to get next offseason. And it's probably not going to be the year for them with Gardner Minshew, and I just don't think they are or have a chance at all in the AFC West. But they have a lot of good players, like the big signing of Christian Wilkins, so I have them third with a 6-11 record.
Alrighty, next team for me in the AFC West is the Los Angeles Chargers. Same record as the Raiders, 7-10. I think they just get the tiebreaker and get second place. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to come in and establish a physical football team. They're going to try to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I think their offensive line is going to be much improved. Obviously, the addition of Joe Alt, and just going to try to maul people. I think they need to get younger on defense. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are not getting any younger, and obviously both have had some injury problems. So I think he's going to try to get some youth on defense, but I think right now this season, while there's going to be improvement, I just don't think they have the talent yet to really establish themselves as a great team in the AFC and obviously in this division. So I have them going 7-12. I mean 7-10 as well, and finishing in second place.
I also have the Chargers going 7-10 and being the second team in the AFC West. I think they have a really great draft, and that a lot of the players they took will be important for their future success. But I think this is going to be a transitional year as they get younger and uh, grow with Jim Harbaugh as their new head coach, which was a great hiring. I
Mm-hmm.
think
I
a lot of
agree.
people agree on that. Yeah, but they have their franchise quarterback, and they have good wide receiver rotation, I would say. But uh, I I think a lot of teams are going to be able to outscore them against the Chargers defense. So I have them going second.
All right. And the team that has owned this division for way too long is not going anywhere. In fact, I think they'll be better this year than they won last year, and they won the Super Bowl last year. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the best defensive team in the AFC, and they have the best player in the NFL on the other side of the ball. So they're gonna do really well this year. My mind. I think the division is going through a lot of changes, and it's only going to benefit Kansas City. I think they're going to go 13-4. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to bounce back statistically and have a better year. Obviously, them bringing in new weapons, Xavier Worthy and obviously Hollywood Brown, they are going to really try to push the ball down the field. And obviously, they still have Travis Kelsey, and Pacheco, so they're going to do just fine. But look out for Kansas City's defense. I think they're only going to get better. They're young, and of course, Chris Jones is back. So, my number one team in the AFC West is the Chiefs, going 13-4.
Yeah, I also have the Chiefs as the number one seed, of course, going 12-5. I think maybe at the minimum, but they could certainly win more games. And this team, I don't really think they have any holes really on their roster. They have a great run game on offense, a great offensive line, the best quarterback in the league, and some young receivers that could play great and become great. And their defense is also great. So I don't. Uh, I think they have a very very good chance of winning the Super Bowl for the third time in a row. In a row. Um, but yeah, this team has only gotten better.
All right, that is our AFC West. Moving on to the NFC West, we'll start in fourth place in the NFC West, and for me, in the NFC West, that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Uh, I think that they've drafted well. I think they're trying to turn around their roster. They'll hopefully have a fully healthy season from Kyler Murray. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a stud. But their offensive line still needs some work, and they still need some more bodies on defense. It's Buda Baker and a bunch of guys. So I feel like this division is going to be really, really tough this year. And I think Arizona is going to put points on the board. I think Trey McBride's really great. I think they're gonna put points on the board. The problem for them was be stopping people and keeping turnovers down. Kyler Murray as good as he can be. He does turn the ball over a little bit more than they'd like, and he's going to be forced to if they can't stop anybody. So at number four, I have the Cardinals at 6-11 in the NFC West.
I also have the Cardinals going 6-11. Uh, I think they have a bright future, but they don't have a lot of talent right now. Of course, they did draft Marvin Harrison Jr., who should be a big piece and a big or great target for Kyler Murray. And hopefully, their young players that they have, like Paris Johnson Jr., B.J. Ojolari, and Darius Robinson, can develop, but they just don't have enough talent, and I think teams in a tough division are going to be able to beat them. So I have them going 6-11.
All right. My number 3 team in the NFC West, going 10-7, is the Seattle Seahawks. It's a time for a new era in Seattle. Pete Carroll's gone, Mike McDonald's in, and with him he brings in the new gold standard in defensive schemes. Really proven himself as a coach, as a coordinator at Michigan and at Baltimore. I'm excited for what he's going to bring. The talent on defense is there. They're young, they're hungry, and the biggest question mark still for me on this team is the offensive line. I think if Gino had a top 15 offensive line, people would stop saying that Seattle needs a new quarterback. I don't think they watched games and realized how much pressure he was under last year constantly and still managed to have a decent year. So I think Seattle's going to improve. I don't think the record's going to improve that much. I think they've got some hard stuff in schedule, obviously a tough division. But I do have them going 10-7, fighting for a wild card spot. At number 3, the Seattle Seahawks.
I also have the Seattle Seahawks at number 3.
Noticing a trend where we have every team in the same position, Ken.
I think it might differ in some of the other divisions where it's,
Hope so.
yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
But the Seahawks, they have, I think the biggest change for them is the new coaching staff. But I think Mike McDonald will bring a good defensive scheme, and Ryan Grubb's offense has looked great. But hopefully the offensive line can develop, and if they don't, then it's not going to be great for the Seahawks in a great division. But the Seahawks have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent. But I think the Rams and 49ers were better last year, and I don't think the Seahawks have changed enough to beat either of them. So I have the Seahawks at 3rd.
All right, my number 2 team is the Los Angeles Rams, and I think they have arguably the best, definitely the best young coach, but one of the best coaches in the NFC, and that's Sean McVay.
Yeah.
I think he is an amazing game planner, and he gets the most out of his roster. If you look at what he's had to deal with, they're going through a lot of change in LA. Obviously, Stafford is great, and Cooper Kupp is great, but getting Puka Nacua to play that well he did last year was amazing. And the defense, Raheem Morris is gone now, so they're really going to have to overperform. They just traded Ernest Jones today. It's a bunch of nobodies on defense. So that's my worry with the Rams. But my trust is in McVay's game-to-game game planning. Creating a game plan on offense. He can score anybody. We talked about Mike McDonald. Look what McVay did in Baltimore against the Ravens in that defense. Just was able to put points on the Ravens defense that no one did last year. And so this is more of a pick for them, it basically being on Sean McVay and just his ability to be an awesome coach. So at number 2, I have the Rams at 10-7 as well.
I also have the Rams 2nd at 9-8.
Okay. At least we're different on the records.
Yeah. I think they could go 10-7 again this year, but I think with better competition against them, they might not win that 10th game. But the Rams, their offense is good, and they have great players. But the defense, they have some good young players.
Yes.
In the front 7 that I think will end up being great, and that will probably be the strength of their defense. But I think there could be some high-scoring games, and the Rams might lose some of those. So the Rams, I have going 2nd.
All right. My number 1 team is San Francisco 49ers. I just have them dropping a little bit. I don't think they're going to win as many games. I have them 11-6. So I got the top 3 teams all within a game of each other. Wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 teams win the division. But the 49ers still have Kyle Shanahan and the best roster in the division. The roster is aging a little bit. Obviously they have the Trent Williams thing. They need to sign him to extension. If you want Brock Purdy to live through the season, you probably should have Trent Williams in there. He is your offensive line. Uh, and then the Brandon Ayuk situation, still not resolved. Hasn't figured out if the trade, if they're going to pay him or whatnot. Just not a well-handled post-Super Bowl loss situation going with by John Lynch. I just don't think like the way he's handled the offseason. So there's a little gloom hanging over this 49ers team. And again, offensive line issues. It seems to be the theme for this division. Not a great set of offensive lines in this division. So it's going to be a concern for me with them. I have them dropping a few wins from last year. But finishing atop, number one, the 49ers at 11-6.
I also have the 49ers at number one at 11-6. I think they will drop a few more games as their Super Bowl window, I think, is closing. If they don't get it this year, I don't know when they're going to win a Super Bowl with this team.
Good point.
But they certainly could with a lot of superstars on this team. This record shouldn't worry 49ers fans. The Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl last year, also went 11-6. But the 49ers, their offensive line isn't great, and I think that is how teams are going to be able to beat them, by getting to Brock Purdy. But they have a lot of playmakers and a good defense, and it's going to be difficult to beat them, but possible. So I have the 49ers still winning, but only by 2 wins.
Alrighty, so that was our AFC West and NFC West predictions. We'll be back with doing the North divisions, then the East divisions, and the South divisions. We appreciate your support and for watching. Take care and have a great day.